Good goddamn and other such phrases. The Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man Gap Year trailer has just dropped and we've just watched it. I am your host, Adam Cleary, joined by
Scott Tilford
and
Ewan Patterson.
And we're going to try and break it down point by point for your lovely little eyes and ears. Okay, so first of all, Tom Holland tried to stream it on Instagram.
Yes.
That didn't work. We've all watched it on Twitter now.
Can we address the really obvious thing?
Well, I think we should leave the glaring, dusty elephant in the room to right at the very end, because we want to be in the here and now, Scott, don't we?
Yes.
So, your initial first thoughts about the Far From Home trailer. He's travelling! He's leaving!
He's
Is that...
literally on his gap year.
I like to go to Ewan for things like this, first of all, because
God.
does this relate to
Just
any
wait a
major storyline that already exists?
The only closest inspiration that I found so far, because he does link up with Nick Fury, which we'll get to later on, is the Secret War storyline, which took place in 2005-2006. It involved Nick Fury taking a bunch of street-level heroes to go and basically do some of his dirty spy work for him. So it remains to be seen what that spy work is. We've heard reports that Mysterio was originally going to start out as an ally before potentially having a double-crossy element to him. We already have our theories about the elementals and how that plays into it, which we'll get to as well. But no, so far this is all pretty much uncharted territory with a nice sort of tonal throwback to the early Stan Lee, Steve Ditko comics. Obviously we have the cartoon theme made in orchestral,
yes,
really
that was
good, which I loved, so yeah.
One of the main things in the first establishing shots, we saw him leave the suit behind. He's obviously, him and Aunt May are now, they're very much okay with the Spider-Man.
I love their relationship.
He's travelling away, he leaves the suit in the cupboard. What do you want to read into that? Does he not want to be Spider-Man anymore? Does he want a separate life?
Well, the thing that stuck out to me is that, I mean, obviously we got lost in fan theory territory leading up to this, and it was like, oh man, what can Far From Home mean? Maybe it means he's trapped in a stone, or something like that, and I was going with that. Turns out Far From Home just literally means that he's far from home and he's on vacation, and yes, he says he wants to leave Spider-Man behind, or he wants to at least enjoy his youth with all of his friends and stuff, and I like that you get the juxtaposition, because it's not until Fury jabs whatever his mate's called in the neck. I forgot the name of that man.
Oh, Ned.
Thingy Bob, yeah.
Ned.
And that like literally is just like, hey, by the way, you've got superhero things to do. So I do like that. But yeah, the overall vibe of the trailer I really like. I actually really like the humour in it, which is one of the things that jarred with me in the original. So
can I posit a question to you both, which we didn't discuss on the way in? Are we in any danger of getting slight Nick Fury oversaturation?
No
chance.
Not for me, because I kind of grew up with him. So
but bear in mind, as you sit here saying this, you've
Yes.
just seen him in 2 trailers. You will have had to sit through him all the way through Captain Marvel. He'll probably be in Endgame, and now he's going to be one of the major things.
You act like this is a bad thing.
I ask merely, is it a bad thing? Not.
I did read a whole online thing about how Marvel have actually reclaimed Hulk by doing their own Hulk movie since the 2000 whatever. Like, they've done another Hulk movie by just stitching together all the scenes that he's been in. And so I don't know if we're ever getting a full-on Fury movie. Assumedly we are, but they've done so much with him in all these other movies that we already feel like we've seen a movie.
It's really cool because this is the start of Phase 4. So it's really great that Nick Fury is still the nucleus of this universe. He's still rocking around, because obviously he didn't have a big presence in Phase 3. So I'm really excited about his kind of role in it, and I'm liking that it's back to him doing secret-y spy stuff.
I did like how unpredictable he seems to be.
The relationship between Spider-Man / Peter Parker picking up a passport, that really popped me.
No.
Peter Parker picking up a
The bit in the trailer, Peter Parker here to pick up a passport, that really got me. By the way, we'll discover about Parker's relationship with Fury as it goes on, but we're also going to get what appears to be new and exciting and teenagey romances with MJ. Is this a necessary element of the character they're going to need to add?
Yeah, I think it's really good. I mean, it's part of, it's a teen film at the end of the day, and as you were both teenagers at one point. Or
Somehow,
back in the these sorts of things happen, and I really, really like Zendaya's version of MJ. I think Michelle was a really kind of charming character from Homecoming, and if she gets more development in this, which I really hope that she does, then yeah, that's really cool. It's been the year of revitalized MJs. Obviously, we had Insomniac Spider-Man kind of change the character, and now we're doing it the same with the MCU. It's really cool.
There's been a lot of Spider-Man lately, hasn't
there?
But I'm alright with it. I'm alright with it. But there's been a lot of Spider-Man lately.
True. For the MJ stuff, I mean, I remember at the end of Homecoming, it was kind of just like thrown in there, and a lot of people thought she was MJ anyway, or assumed kind of thing. And it was a nice little nod for the fans, kind of stuff, kind of way for them to go. But I like that they've picked that thread up and made it.
Milady.
At least they've sort of like made it part of the fabric of this new one. It's like clearly we're gonna get Peter Parker and MJ's relationship from the beginning as this version of it anyway. And I like the casting. Like Zendaya seems great. So,
well, I'm so glad you brought up the casting, because Jake Gyllenhaal as I keep wanting to call him Mysterium because that's that nice board game I like. It's Mysterio.
Mysterio.
Yeah,
Mysterio.
like the wrestler.
Yes.
We got our first glimpse of him. He was described as being, hey, totally like Thor and like Iron Man, but he's not. He's very much going to be the baddie of this piece, isn't he?
I mean, I don't think we're going to see him as a baddie.
The trailer presented him initially as what appeared to be an ally, another hero. What do we think the story is there?
For a while now, we've known that Spidey Far From Home is going to incorporate these villains called the Elementals, which is what we see in the trailer. You know, we see a kind of Hydro Man-esque thing before, and then a rock pebbly Sandman-esque kind of monster. Obviously, with Mysterio being involved, if you're familiar with the character from the comics, you'll know that he is a master of illusion, and he's a special effects.
Say he's a twat.
He is, but he's a special effects artist called Quentin Beck. I think potentially in this film we're going to see him start out as maybe a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent who then kind of grows jealous of Spidey's superheroics. You know, who see him at the beginning unveiled before a press conference. That's quite interesting, and then the ending of the trailer really focuses on him fighting this monster by himself, and I'm thinking this is maybe a publicity campaign for him to kind of sell himself as this new superhero. Oh, like, yeah, we love Mysterio. Who the hell cares about Spider-Man? So
even to even to tie that back to the old animated series, there's a bit of that, all the misdirection, all the manufacturing of entire circumstances, and he's behind the whole thing. I did laugh when Gyllenhaal turned up. I just didn't think it was.
So many ways you could pronounce that, like Gyllenhaal.
Let's just say, let's just go with Jake
Gyllenhaal.
When he popped up, I just thought it just didn't land. Like, you get that full profile shot of him, and it just looked. I just laughed. I was like, it just doesn't look good. I think that's
yeah, exactly. May I posit the theory that if he's trying to be a superhero, like for publicity, if he's a total fraud, surely the over-the-top, bombastic, ridiculous look would be perfectly.
Hopefully, I mean, he's got a fishbowl for a head, which I love that they stuck with, and we do get fishbowl Mysterio, because I didn't want when they said Jake was going to be him. We kind of assumed that maybe he might want to have his face on show. A lot of actors want to and stuff when they play these kind of roles.
They reimagined the Vulture very well, didn't they? I sort of assumed.
Exactly.
I think vaguely remember me and you coming into this exact studio to do the news about the announcement that Gyllenhaal was going to play it, and we, I think, spent longer than we really needed to trying to work out how they could do that cool Marvel reimagining of the villain with the character who wears a cape and has a smoky fishbowl for a head.
Michael Keaton in it.
So delighted to see that was all time wasted.
Exactly.
But while we're on the subject of costumes,
go on.
I'm really good at this.
I was gonna. You could have done it without calling it. Go on.
The new suits. We saw 2 new Spider-Man suits. He left one in the cupboard. Then we was given the red and black one, which we've seen a lot from the set photos. But there was also the briefest glimpse of what I can only describe as a Spider-Man noir-esque suit.
We only see the goggles coming down, but it made us think of noir.
It's definitely a callback to that kind of costume. Obviously, everyone will be familiar with that character now, thankfully, thanks to Spider-Man.
Nick Cage's immaculate performance.
I don't think we'll be seeing him burning his matches into his hand anytime soon, but yeah, that's really cool.
I wish.
And there's so many. I love the red and black suit because to me that harkens back to the old Ditko Spider-Man costume, which had a darker blue to it. And the web wings are back. I love the web wings. Not gonna lie, I love them.
I also wonder, like, it's a purely like a palette comparison, but it reminded me of Miles' new suit. Or the suit that you see him have in Spider-Verse, which I know he's had for years and stuff. But in terms of like the darker suit, the black and red, like it was just a nice little tie as to they've had this planned all along.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
I think he probably gets the noir suit from Fury. Seems up his alley.
Yeah, the stuff with Fury, like obviously he's doing the standard like archetypal spy in the room, like shoots his friend, and they go on this mission or whatever. So assumedly he has that suit and goes on some Winter Soldier, Captain America style exploits, and then because they have I said about the juxtaposition before, but they have a great like you've got all the sunny holiday type stuff, and then all the gritty spy type stuff. It's like, hey, your life is catching up to you kind of thing.
Do you think this has got already? I mean, you brought it up there. Do you think this has a slight vibe of Teenage Winter Soldier?
I'd love that.
Mutant Winter Soldier.
I almost said Ninja Turtles, but I would love that because Winter Soldier for me is one of my favourite Marvel movies. And one of the things that I didn't like about Homecoming, mostly was just that it felt like another origin story, him finding himself. I'm way more up for a fully fledged Spidey, career Spidey, just doing things. Like that's what was great about the animated show and Spider-Man on PS4. So yeah.
I was also going to ask because we talked about Nick Fury, and obviously he's one of the big signifiers of the earlier phases of the MCU.
This is a Marvel movie.
Yes. Happy Hogan. Ooh, we don't know what happens.
He's hitting that.
He's happy, all right.
We don't know what happens to Tony Stark in Endgame, and we need to kind of figure out his relation to Peter in this film. And obviously, if we're seeing him wheel before a press conference. Could
Civil War-ish.
You trying to say the reason Aunt May is getting herself a nice slice of Happy Hogan is because she's on a dusty rebound?
I mean,
let's move on.
Let's pivot into the obvious thing.
The obvious, massive, dusty, purple gloved elephant in the room. Now, it won't have escaped any of your attention if you've seen Infinity War and haven't been living on a cave in Mars with your eyes shut and your fingers in your ears going la 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 la.
Didn't happen.
6 months. Spider-Man is dead.
He's not even alive in any of this.
He is dead as balls, but very much the impression I got from the trailer was that he's now alive. I don't know if you guys picked up on that. So we've come to the conclusion,
go on.
broadly, that they can't even touch on Endgame because any kind of hint whatsoever, like, oh hey, you're looking well, or like, even if they deliberately
a little visual glitch makes it look like it's a dream or something.
It kind of gives you too much. It tells you too much because we've got to get over this huge hurdle of where all these characters are before we can resume their lives. Any thoughts, gentlemen?
I still think that the trailer is being more about this.
Okay.
I kind of go back to that shot where he leaves the suit.
Right.
There is a genuine look of like sorrow and remorse, and I wouldn't be surprised if they really delve into the kind of the PTSD elements surrounding this because he did literally die, and we don't know how people are going to remember the aftermath of Infinity War. We don't know what happens. We don't know how everyone comes back, or that, but basically they do.
If indeed they remember anything.
Yeah, and that is the thing. So maybe he is putting that away because he feels something about that suit. And the last time he suited up, he didn't come back.
What?
So,
secondary theory: have you ever packed for a big trip and then got the case full and realised you've forgotten something?
And
that is
your main suit.
That's the face you pull off. God's sake.
I was going to throw in, as we're in theory territory, what if the whole thing is in his mind? It's some sort of projection based on where he actually is. If he is trapped inside one of the stones after all.
And Mysterio's just messing with him.
Well,
that's very meta.
What if all of it is just his way of processing everything that he did? He left, he went on this grand adventure, his past did catch up to him, and in terms of Stark recruiting him, and everything went sideways. We're nerds, all right. You've got to nerd it up.
We are nerds, and we're also out of time. Unless anyone's got any massively important little one-liners you want to drop in.
No, but I like Spider-Man.
Grand. That leaves it for the audience then to drop in their little one-liners, and you know where to do that, don't you? It's in the comments below, and of course, while you're here, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Quick out of 10 hype levels for Far From Home.
Oh, it's like a 9.
9 already?
Oh yeah, I love Spidey. So
9 already?
Yeah. I'm gonna go with 10 happy Hogans.
I'm gonna simmer on a 7 till I've seen. There's things I want to see happen first before I get to it. So that averages out at 8.2. I think we'll leave
the
it.
math's correct.
Anyway, yes, let us know where you are as well on the scale, also in the comments. Anyway, my name has been Adam Cleary. I have been joined by
Scott
and Ewan,
and we will see you very soon, won't we?
Yeah. Bye though.
Unless we all dusted and disintegrate.
We've already done the animation for that.
Oh.
Bye.
Bye.